In the vast theatre of natural history, no creature has left a more haunting echo than the dodo. Gone for over 3 centuries, yet still roaring in the collective memory of humankind, the dodo isn't just a symbol of extinction. It is extinction personified. This flightless bird, native only to the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, wasn't some fragile, weak animal waiting for the end. It was robust, it was adapted, and it was completely unprepared for the arrival of one unstoppable predator, humans. The story of the dodo is a raw, intense confrontation between evolution and invasion, between innocence and exploitation. It's a tragedy not of nature, but of humanity. Forget the cartoons and the fairy tale imagery. The real dodo was no bumbling fat caricature waddling toward doom. Scientifically named Rhaphus cucullatus, this bird was about 3 feet tall and weighed anywhere between 10 to 20 kilograms. It wasn't grotesquely fat, it was sturdy. Powerful legs supported a large body covered in greyish feathers, while a hooked beak gave it a unique and somewhat menacing look. Its wings were indeed tiny and useless for flight, but this wasn't due to laziness or clumsiness. It was the result of millions of years of adaptation to an island paradise with no natural predators. In its environment, the dodo was king. Mauritius, lush, remote and isolated, was a haven sculpted by time. For millions of years, the dodo thrived in this predator-free Eden. It didn't need to fly. Food was abundant. Danger was non-existent. Evolution did what it always does. It tailored the dodo for success in its specific habitat. It grew larger, lost the ability to fly, and became a ground forager, feeding on fruits, seeds, and possibly even small land vertebrates. It was an evolutionary masterpiece, perfect for a world untouched by the bootprints of humankind. But evolution doesn't predict the future. It doesn't prepare for invasions. And when the Portuguese and later the Dutch set foot on Mauritius in the late 16th century, the clock began ticking for the dodo. Humans came, and with them, doom followed. Sailors, settlers, explorers, they all brought more than just curiosity. They brought rats, pigs, monkeys, and dogs, creatures that had never existed in Mauritius before. And these animals didn't arrive politely. They came hungry, fast, and ruthless. Dodo eggs, once safely laid in shallow nests on the forest floor, became free meals. Adult dodos, unafraid of humans due to their evolution in a predator-free world, were slaughtered without resistance. Worse, the ecological balance of the island was shattered. Forests were chopped. Invasive species overwhelmed native flora. And the dodo, never taught by nature how to run or fight or fly, was obliterated. Not by natural selection, but by man-made extermination. The first recorded mention of the dodo came in 1598. By the 1660s, it was extinct. That's it. Less than 70 years from first contact to complete eradication. A creature that had survived millennia of natural change was wiped off the face of the earth within a human lifespan. No modern conservation, no second chances, no recovery plan. The dodo was gone before the world even had the scientific tools to study it properly. And what did we gain? Meals, novelty, infamy. The bird that once reigned supreme on its island now survives only in bones, sketches, and warnings. Warnings that are still ignored today. Pop culture butchered the dodo's reputation. From Alice in Wonderland to animated films, the dodo is often portrayed as slow, stupid, and doomed from the start. That is a dangerous and lazy narrative. It gives humanity a convenient excuse to deflect blame. But science has spoken. The dodo was not stupid. Its brain was proportionally similar to pigeons, which are considered among the smarter birds. It was cautious and curious. It knew its habitat. It had instincts, just not ones designed to handle European muskets and swarms of ravenous rats. We didn't just watch the dodo disappear, we engineered its extinction. And then we ridiculed it. Let's get brutally scientific. What happens when an animal, perfectly adapted to a unique environment, meets an invasive ecosystem brought by force? The answer: rapid collapse. The dodo couldn't evolve quickly enough. Evolution needs time, and time is the one thing the dodo didn't have. From egg predation to habitat destruction, the pressure was too much, too fast. It's like throwing a lamb into a pit of wolves and blaming the lamb for not being fast enough. Today, extinction still happens at alarming rates, and the mechanisms are eerily similar: habitat loss, invasive species, hunting, and climate disruption. The dodo's fate wasn't a fluke, it was a warning shot, a loud one. For centuries, the world doubted the dodo even existed. Skepticism ran rampant. It took dedicated fossil hunters and bone collectors to bring the truth to light. Skeletons were unearthed in Mauritius's Mare aux Songes swamp, a literal graveyard of lost creatures. Each bone told a story of power and fall. From fragmented beaks to clawed toes, the dodo's anatomy was pieced together like solving a crime scene. These remains became symbols, cold, hard evidence of our species' capability for destruction. Today, museums across the world showcase these bones not just as relics, but as testaments. The dodo existed, it thrived, and we killed it. With advances in genetics and biotechnology, some scientists are now asking a bold, controversial question: can we bring the dodo back? The field of de-extinction aims to reconstruct extinct DNA and possibly reintroduce lost species. But is that a noble cause or a distraction from real conservation? Recreating a dodo might be scientifically possible in the future. But where would it live? Mauritius is no longer the Eden it once was. The ecosystems have changed. The threats still linger. A resurrected dodo placed in today's world would be no safer than its ancestor. The truth is, bringing back the dodo is less about justice and more about curiosity, maybe even guilt. It won't fix what we broke, but it might remind us of the cost of carelessness. In 2002, a breakthrough shook the scientific world. Researchers successfully extracted dodo DNA from a preserved bone. This wasn't just academic, it was a resurrection of identity. With enough viable genetic material, scientists could trace evolutionary relationships, study behavior, and better understand how such an iconic species collapsed so rapidly. DNA became a portal to the past, a forensic lens into a tragedy that, until then, lacked clarity. It was also a somber realization. The dodo isn't some fairy tale bird. It was real. It bled, it bred, it suffered. And now, through science, it speaks. The dodo didn't die alone. It's a poster child in what biologists now call the sixth mass extinction, a human-triggered event wiping species off the planet at rates never before recorded in history. Amphibians, insects, mammals, birds, none are safe. And unlike natural extinctions caused by asteroids or supervolcanoes, this one has a culprit: us. In every vanishing species, you can hear the echoes of the dodo's fate. The only difference now is scale. While the dodo's extinction was confined to an island, today's destruction is global. The fall of the dodo is not just a loss of biodiversity, it's a mirror. It reflects our arrogance, our ignorance, and our apathy. But it also offers a spark of awareness that we can change, that history does not have to repeat itself. Conservation isn't a luxury, it's survival. Every ecosystem is a web. Pull out a strand like the dodo and the structure weakens. Leave enough holes and the whole thing collapses. Though the dodo no longer struts through the forests of Mauritius, it walks with us still, in our textbooks, in our art, in our collective guilt. It's the bird that forced humanity to look inward, to ask, what have we done? But also, what can we still save? In zoos, in labs, in classrooms, and in policy meetings, the ghost of the dodo watches. It demands attention, it demands justice, and it demands that we never let another creature vanish so silently again. The dodo is more than bones and myths. It is the voice of every species on the brink, screaming into the chaos of human progress. If we dare listen, if we take action, the dodo's death won't be in vain. It will be the catalyst for change, the spark for a revolution in thought, respect, and coexistence. We cannot bring the dodo back, but we can stop the next one from falling. Let the dodo be the last of its kind, not in extinction, but in preventable tragedy. Let its name be etched in stone, not as a joke, not as a fable, but as the fiercest cautionary tale ever written by the wild.